Hello and welcome to CGTN. We're right now at the famed Mount Qingcheng located in southwest China's Sichuan province. If you can see behind me, the mountains are actually surrounded by mist. The weather here is quite disappointing today, I have to say, but that doesn't dampen our spirit. We're here to celebrate China's Dragon Boat Festival. We're going to get into the history and the traditions of the festival a little bit later. First of all, a little bit about the location. The town behind me is actually called the Tai'an ancient town. It consists of only 2 streets, so it's quite a small town actually. But as you can see, it's raining rather heavily right now, but the street behind us is still bustling with life. And join me to talk a little bit more about Mount Qingcheng and about the Dragon Boat Festival, or the Duanwu Festival as it is known in China, is Miss Liu Xin, who is a local tour guide here. So first of all, Liu Xin, thank you for joining us, and tell us a little bit about yourself and your job in this region.
Hi everyone, I'm Cindy Liu. I'm working in the scenic area of the Dujiangyan irrigation system, which is a World Cultural Heritage Site. I've been working there for over 13 years. And it's very exciting to be here with you to talk about something about this town, the Tai'an ancient town, which is more than 1,000 years history. It's located at the foot of the Qingcheng mountain.
Right. Talk to us a little bit about the Dujiangyan tourist attraction site that you just mentioned, because I suppose people outside of Sichuan, especially outside of China, probably don't know much about that. It's a close by tourist attraction, also located here in Sichuan, close to the provincial capital, Chengdu. Tell us a little bit more about that. Why is it so famous?
Yeah, it's famous because it was one of the most scientific irrigation system not only in China but in the world, because it's not only with long history, but it was built in the year 256 BC during the war period time, built by the Emperor Qing. At that time, the Minjiang River always caused floods, but Chengdu Plain was lack of water resource. That is why the engineer Li Bing decided to build such a great irrigation system with local people here to divert a certain amount of water to Chengdu Plain to irrigate more than 36 tons in nowadays. So you can see how important this project is to our local people, to the whole Chengdu Plain, and even to China.
Right.
So in the year 2000, this project and Qingcheng Mountain both were on the list of the World Cultural Heritage by the UNESCO.
We look forward to someday maybe doing a live stream there at the Dujiangyan irrigation system. But the 2 sites are actually quite close to each other, right? And like we said, they're located right outside of the provincial capital, Chengdu. Yes. So if you're in Chengdu for any reason and you want to do a day trip, Mount Qingcheng and Dujiangyan irrigation system are 2 good choices, right?
I think 1 day is enough for you to visit these 2 places. The irrigation system,
unless you want to climb the mountains, of course.
You can go to the back mountain of the front mountain of Qingcheng, not the back mountain.
Right, but then you're going to be too exhausted for anything else. Because I did the Mount Qingcheng climbing yesterday. It was really exhausting.
You can take a cable car up there.
Right.
Yeah, because it will take 2 hours to climb the top, to reach the top. It's really, it's a tough work for you to go up on foot.
Right.
Actually, from the downtown to the Qingcheng mountain is about 16 kilometers. But I think you'd better have a good driver to drive here because of its exact mountains road. It will make you take about 2 hours, like today's Dragon Boat Festival. Yeah, many people would like to come
kilometers?
Here. Yeah, I spent 2 hours to be here.
I'm sorry for doing that to you.
It's okay, because so many delicious food are waiting for us to try.
I guess the rain didn't make the drive better, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's unfortunate that our umbrellas are probably blocking the good view behind us. But if we just turn the camera around, and see the mountains, it's probably clearer here on this side, right? Yeah. And these houses are actually quite traditional Western Sichuan style folk houses.
Yeah,
right?
it's a kind of traditional local traditional design, but actually the history of this town can trace back to the Tang and Song dynasties.
Wow.
But it has been rebuilt at the end of the Qing dynasty. But unfortunately, this town was 80% damaged by the earthquake in 2008.
The 2008 Wenchuan earthquake.
Right.
How far away is Wenchuan from here?
The epicenter actually quite close here, only I think only about 20 kilometers away from here. So most of the buildings were collapsed or damaged by the earthquake.
So what we're seeing right now are pretty much rebuilt.
Yeah, pretty much rebuilt.
Right, and the mountains.
The original looks.
The mountains. I think for Western audience, at least, what they're most famous for is that this is where Fu Panda 2 was filmed at, right?
Right.
It's a UNESCO, like you mentioned, it's a UNESCO-listed World Cultural Heritage and thought to be the birthplace of Taoism.
Right, the Qingcheng Mountains are the birthplace of the Taoism, and Taoism is our native religion in China.
Right. Go ahead. Well, shall we just walk a little bit? Because I think you mentioned before the amazing food and culture that this town has to offer. But before we go in, of course, I think no Dragon Boat Festival is complete without 粽子.
Right, 粽子.
Or sticky dumplings, as they're known in the West. I hate that name personally. I told you that before. I'll explain why. But the owner of this shop is actually nice enough to allow us to come into his shop and kind of showcase what 粽子 is really about here. I'm going to, 老板，我又要来这儿糟践你一个粽子，可以吗？
Yeah, 粽子 is kind of food related to the Dragon Boat Festival. Because Chinese traditional festival, it has some special food related to that. So Dragon Boat Festival there's no exception. We have 粽子 for this special festival. It's wrapped up with the kind of
bamboo leaves or reed leaves. This is reed, right? I think this is reed.
Glutinous rice with some special fillings. You can filling like lamb or smoked pork or red beans.
And also, I think
salty or sweet one.
Exactly, but I think people. My cameraman right now come from the north, and he has never had salty 粽子 before.
Only the sweet ones.
Only the sweet ones.
But local people prefer the salt one, like you can take a look the pork there. We call that smoked pork.
Right.
Yeah, we can cut into slices.
It's quite greasy.
Yeah, and filling with the glutinous rice inside the rib leaves.
Right.
As one kind of flavor.
Take a look at this meat. This is amazing. This smoked pork. Smoked pork is actually a specialty of Mount Qingcheng, right? Is there a reason? Is it because the climate here is good for smoking meat?
Right.
Or is it because the technique?
Yeah, I think the climate here is really suitable for us to make this kind of delicious food, but not in north of China. It's too dry, and the temperature here before the Lunar Spring Festival is a good time for us to make the smoked pork.
Right,
for every family.
And to come back to our 粽子, I mentioned before I don't like the name sticky rice dumpling because first of all, dumpling you use dough, right? You use flour and dough. You can't eat the leaves. You're supposed to unwrap it and just eat the stuffing, the sticky rice and the various kinds of stuffing inside the zones. It's actually really hard to make these. They look easy.
It's not easy to wrap it up.
I tried once.
You have tried?
I just couldn't do it. So I know the theory. Theoretically, you're supposed to fold the leaf into a cone, right?
Right.
And then two leaves to make it flatter, bigger, so to speak. And then you put the sticky rice inside and the various stuffing. And then the difficult part is it actually has these edges.
Yeah, how to make it? Yeah, it's like
so how to fold it is actually quite.
The rice will not.
It actually takes skills, right?
Out of the leaf.
Right. Older people probably are better at doing this.
Yeah, they are very skilled.
Young people don't do it anymore. Like young people everywhere else in the world, we're kind of losing.
That's why nowadays we prefer to buy the ready-to-eat.
Exactly.
It's produced by their production line.
Exactly. But when I was younger, I used to make them with my grandparents.
Have you heard about the Wu Fangzhai? It's a quite famous brand in China of produced 粽子.
Right. But these are handmade, I think, and not quite well done. I'm afraid.
It looks more that.
Probably a bit over-steamed. But they taste yummy. We tried them yesterday.
Yeah.
And we just want to give a big shout out to our owner of this shop. 你姓什么? Qingcheng. Mr. Chen, who allowed us to use his shop and use his stones not only today but also last night. So thank you. 谢谢. Okay. So,
Okay,
shall
let's
we
move on.
Exactly, we should move on. Oh, this side maybe.
Yeah, there are two, just like we mentioned before, there are two main streets in this town. So this town is not with a very significant size, but it's so important in our Sichuan province because this town is located at the junction between the northwestern Tibetan autonomous region and the southwest Chengdu plain. So here's a place that people must to pass if you want to go to the northwestern Tibetan area. That is why since Tang and Song dynasties, there are some political organs has been established here in this town to manage this town.
Wow, So it's actually got quite a long history. It lives up to its name, an ancient town, right?
Tai'an ancient town.
Right.
Maybe if you translate into Chinese literally, into English literally means prosperous and peace.
And prosperous
Tai'an.
and peace, exactly.
Yeah,
so this is a gateway to the Tibetan region. I think many people outside of China don't realize that we have Tibetan region here in Sichuan.
This road is also a section of the Silk Road or the Tea and Horse Trade Road. Yeah.
So it links the
eastern part and the
western part. Okay.
So that is why the people since the Tang and Song dynasties, they would like to selling some products like tobacco, further herb medicine, or some local specialties like tea leaves. So here is like a trade market here.
So it's also it's not only just a trade market; it's also a cultural mixture of eastern and western parts of the world.
So yeah, you can imagine how prosperous this town was in ancient time.
Right. But just look at the street right now. Despite the rain, it's still bustling with life.
Yeah,
I think
because the videos keep coming.
Yes, I think that says something about Sichuan people, right? You're a local here. Talk to us about how you feel about your people and their attitude toward life in general.
Sichuan people, there's one thing can describe how you say relaxed life here.
Exactly.
Mahjong, or tea house. Yeah, people like to spend their spare time at the tea house and hang out with some friends and playing mahjong.
Right.
But we have to mention about the coronavirus pandemic spread over China and even the world. So the people
that really hit the tourism sector hard. How were you affected personally as a tour guide?
I think the number of visitors must have down to 60% year on year. Yeah, down to 60%.
So that means really in the past couple of months you spent a lot of time not working, probably just staying at home.
Quarantine at home. Right. Yeah, like most people do.
Here we have some sliced smoked
pork
meat.
we mentioned before. This is smoked pork.
Let's take a look at this.
One of the favorable dishes here.
Right.
Because most of the visitors would like to order this dish. You can see they are trying now. The smoked pork.
They use this kind of smoked meat in a lot of the dishes that they cook here in Mount Qingcheng, right? So, can we just go speak a few sentences with the owner of the restaurant? Because I want to find out more about their food specialty right
all
here.
The food here are very local foods.
Right.
Like the stewed chicken with ginkgo nuts.
Right.
The ginkgo is a city tree in Chengdu, and there's a ginkgo tree grew on Qingcheng Mountain was planted by there's an eminent monk Zhang Daolin. So that tree is more than 1,800 years old. So that's why the people like to use the ginkgo nut to stew chicken. They say it's good for brain. The ginkgo nuts is good for heart and brain. So that's why the stewed chicken with ginkgo nuts is one of the popular dish here. And this is a bean curd, very tender bean curd. We like to eat this type of bean curd with very special handmade red chili sauce.
So you just put the plain one in a bowl and then you pour sauce on top of it.
No, just put the sauce on little plate.
And then you dip it in the sauce.
Right.
Okay. So let's go inside and try to see if we can talk to the owner of the restaurant. Do you know, I think a couple of months ago when my colleague came here, she actually interviewed the owner of this restaurant.
Oh, really?
This handsome guy right here.
Oh,
Hello.
he's the owner of this
Hello.
restaurant.
Can you? Hey, hello. Nice to meet you. Thank you for joining our show. 谢谢你参加我们的节目。叫什么名字？
我叫周中鹏。
周中鹏 ，Mr. 周中鹏。You're the owner of this restaurant. 你是老板。
对，现在的话我是老板。
讲讲你们店的特色。
我们店啊，其实我们店的话这属于是土生土长的吧，因为我们是从小在这长大的，然后是我们自己家房子，然后后山的特色腊肉啊。
This is their own house.
Yeah.
And you actually grew up here， 在这儿长大哈。
在这长大。
对，因为是我们自己家房子，从小在这长大的，然后后山的特色腊肉啊，还有野菜、后山四绝啊这些的话，我们家基本上都在做的，而且都是大部分是从老辈传承下来的。然后不是说我们，因为我们之前我个人的话，我因为是自己家店嘛，我自己是有的时候在炒菜，然后以前是在外面学过厨师，但是大部分的后山特色也是从父辈传下来的。
So he learned cooking elsewhere, but most of the cooking techniques that they're using right now actually passed down from their older generations in their family.
Mentioned the kind of the white vegetable is really popular for the visitors to try.
The
What
what?
kind of white vegetable? 什么野菜呢？
野菜啊，就是后山的话，它是因为那种青菜，你们刚刚有个人在那看到我们摆的青菜，然后它是就是不像小白菜啊、凤尾这种比较家常的，它是山上特有的野菜。
我们听说叫竹叶菜是吗？
对，有竹叶菜，刚刚有到竹叶菜，还有天鹅菜，然后还有野芹菜啊，然后还有就是野韭菜这些的。
Oh, he mentioned different type of white vegetables like bamboo leaf. Maybe I think that kind of
the other one is
vegetable
called swan vegetable. I think I love these names.
Yeah, the leaves looks like a bamboo leaf.
所以腊肉的话，做起来是不是很辛苦？How do you make those iconic smoked meat here?
腊肉的话，因为做的话，它是工序比较复杂，因为它这是腊肉，然后我们之前做的话是在年前，就是冬至过之后，然后天气比较冷的时候，然后腊肉肉就买回来开始腌制好之后，然后熏的话大概就是熏，普通的话可能就是熏1个月左右，然后可能比较长的可能会2到3个月。
Wow. So they typically buy the pork in the winter time.
Yeah,
and
take
then
a long time to smoke it.
Right, they cure it first, and then they smoke it for one or 2 months. Wow, it's a long time. I heard that your house is in the back. 你家里面熏腊肉的房子是在后面是吧？
是在楼顶上面。我们是熏完腊肉之后，然后现在里面是堆放的杂物。我们是每年就是过年那几天是在熏的，然后最近的话一般没有熏的话，就是里面堆放一些柴火那些的。
Okay, so they smoke the meat in the winter time around the Lunar New Year, which fell on different days each year, probably in January or February, right?
So they can keep it for maybe half the year.
And then use it for storage,
Yeah.
probably when they're not using their house for smoking meat. Okay,
So
thank you for
this can
joining
try
us.
to-
谢谢。
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. This bean curd looks pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And just look at the fish, man.
Yeah, the steamed fish.
I think besides the rich culture that this town has to offer, what really stands out about it is the culinary feast that it offers to visitors, both from Sichuan province and outside of the area, maybe outside of China, right? So
most of people like to come here, go on a vacation in the weekends, or especially the summer vacation. Because here, surrounded by the valleys and mountains, so the temperature here will be 3 or 4 degrees lower than the downtown.
it's actually really cold. I think it's more than 4 or 5 degrees lower. For example, today, on a day like today.
Look at that. That kind of fried potato is also a popular snack here.
你好，
And
老
a
板。
pancake.
我们在做一个直播，能不能看一下你这儿的小吃？
Yeah, also you can look at the sausage, smoked pork. They can just eat it
It's also
directly.
smoked pork, right? And that's smoked sausage.
This is really local flavor. You see the dry chili powder with sesame.
That's another thing that Sichuan province is known for eating spicy food,
Yeah,
right?
because the climate here it's a little bit humid actually than other places. That's the people here would like to eat spicy and numbing food.
谢谢。
Numbing food too. They say
Numbing
the-
comes from the peppercorn, of
Right.
course.
That's why they say that the numbing food or the Chinese pepper can get rid of the humid inside your body.
And that's why people from this region like eat this hot, spicy food, because the weather here in this region is really humid, especially when it comes to the summertime.
You can see the moss on the ground. It's very humid.
Exactly, you can see the moss on the ground.
Yeah.
But it's also very good for the ladies, for your skin.
Good for skin. And not get sunburned.
I originally come from Beijing. Now when I go back to my hometown, I get pimples. I'm too used to staying in Sichuan. I also, since we were talking about that before, I like the attitude of the people from this region toward life. Like you said, they may not make a lot of money, but they know how to enjoy life.
Yeah. They really know different kind of ways to.
And they gave it a quite sophisticated word. They call it 生活美学, which means life aesthetics.
I think so.
I think it's actually, it lives up to that word, because if you come to Sichuan, I think one of the first things that people will tell you is that you hear the sound of mahjong before even landing, probably on the airplane. That's an exaggeration, of course. And then another thing is that you smell the hot chili peppers in the hot pot.
Yeah.
That's the two things that this region are known for: hot pot, mahjong, and one more thing is the giant panda.
Right. Here's the habitat of the giant panda. Yeah, here's a habitat of the giant panda. That's why there are some films like Kung Fu Panda has filmed here on the Qingcheng mountain, on the front mountain.
Exactly. And I think there are plans right now of building a giant panda national park, which links together provinces like Yunnan, Sichuan, and Shanxi a little bit to the north, and a few other places, I think, which is going to open by the end of this year, I believe, and that's going to be one of the first national parks of China. So that's something to look forward to as well. Wow, the weather here. Bingfen. I don't know how to say that in
maybe
English.
It's ice jelly.
It's a type of jelly.
Yeah.
It's got nothing inside.
Ice jelly. It's a very popular snack in summertime.
But check out the pickles.
Yeah, this is pickle.
The locals preserve pretty much every vegetable.
Yeah,
Right?
there are so many kind of vegetables could be put inside this pot.
So how do they eat them?
Just eat it directly. While you eat rice or with other dishes, you can eat the pickle, a little small plate of pickle. It will, I say, it could help you to good for digest. Yeah, because it has been fermented inside this kind of
So it's good
salt water.
salt water.
Yeah.
For how long usually, do you know?
How long? Keep inside the pot? Maybe several months or
Several
even
months.
more than 1 year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Traditionally, every family makes these at home,
Yeah,
right?
every
But not
time make it at
anymore.
home. My mom, she likes to make pickles at home herself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, tastes really good. And the pickle could use to combine with different type of dishes. You can, make some pickle when you cook fish. It will make the fish taste more delicious. Yeah, more tasty.
Right.
Or with some chicken. There's a different kind of dishes can combine with the pickle. Yeah.
Liu Xing, I want to go back to the topic of COVID-19 affecting the tourism sector. You talked about the amount of visitors was down by almost half.
About 6%.
And Mount Qingcheng, I believe, closed for more than 1 month, or 1.5 months at least.
Yeah, almost 2 months.
How about the Dujiangyan irrigation system?
That areas, I think has been closed more than 2 months. But since the end of April, the visitors can book the tickets.
Right.
Can book tickets.
Go this direction.
Okay, go this way. Yeah. Every visitors you want to visit the irrigation system scenic area, they have to book the tickets online.
Right now.
Right now, yeah.
And that's because when they book their tickets online, they can basically, they have to put in their personal information, ID number and so on.
Right.
So that's linked to maybe the big data center, and then they can basically track where have you been.
Yeah, to track where they have been.
Right, whether you've been to high-risk areas,
Yes.
what kind of people you've been in touch with. So that's better than just handing out cash and taking the tickets in person when you come here.
Right. So every workers working at the same area, we follow the policy of control and prevention policies of the disease. So I think we have contained this pandemic almost.
Yes. Yes. I was reading yesterday that the Dragon Boat Festival is quite important. It arrives at a quite important timing because this is the second public holiday after China entered what's known as a regular epidemic control and prevention period, meaning that things pretty much calmed down for the country a little bit, so to speak. So this is a test for the country's regular containment efforts as well. So you basically stay at home for 2 months, home quarantine for 2 months.
Right.
How was that?
We actually we are not that disappointed when we because every day we watch the TV. We know the situation of our country, our central government, how to prevent and control this disease. So we are not that pandemic. We know everything will recover.
But how about just not working and having nothing to do for 2 entire months?
We have to. Most of the time we stay at home with our child. You know, the kids cannot go to school as well, so we teach him something, some knowledge, some.
English, for one thing.
English.
I actually met Liu Xin's little boy just now.
We arrived at the temple.
Yes.
In this town, there's a
we wanted to
Buddhist
talk
temple.
a little bit about this temple.
I have to tell you something about this temple. You know, this temple was originally built at the Tang Dynasty, but because of the civil war in the Ming Dynasty, it was damaged by the civil war. So it has been rebuilt at the beginning of the Qing Dynasty. And there's an eminent monk. There's a very famous monk named as Yuan.
In this
Yuan during the but in the Tang Dynasty, no, nowadays,
Okay.
he was one of the 56 eminent monks who studied to India during the Tang Dynasty.
Wow.
So he was born and grew up here, the eminent monk Yuan.
Do you think we can go upstairs and take a look at the temple?
I think so. We can.
Maybe just a peek from the outside?
So this temple, since Tang and Song Dynasty, this temple became a holy land for all the Buddhist believers to come here and pray the Buddha inside, pray in front of a statue of the Buddha.
Wow. So how is
Because
it?
even nowadays, people like to burn incense here for their family.
Even in the rain. So how is it that a Buddhist temple came to be in a Taoist mountain?
The Qingcheng mountain is Taoist mountain,
Right.
but here, this town, actually, Taoism is a combination of some like witchcraft, Buddhism, and Confucius. Yeah, it's a combination.
Wow.
I say Taoism is a combination of this type of cultures.
I think I have to say, as a Chinese person, that the Chinese culture is so profound.
Yeah, profound, actually.
That you can never fully come to understand a culture, a people, a place. Just walking in this town, there's just so much to talk about. So shall we walk back to the main street of this town? Because there's a bit of a traffic jam here.
Yeah, the people still.
Because of the weather, also because it's a public holiday. I told you just now while we were chatting, yesterday it took us 1.5 hours to drive from the front mountain to the back mountain. And like you
sounds
said,
terrible.
and like
Only-
you said, the roads.
Maybe only 20 kilometers, right?
Yes,
But it
it's
takes
only 20
1.5 hours.
kilometers. And
to
like
drive
you
here.
said, the roads, the mountain roads were really zigzag. But that's straight ahead is the hotel that we're staying at. And yesterday, while we were eating inside, one of our friends actually took a photo here.
Oh, okay.
Turn around.
So now it's almost lunchtime.
Yes. So took a photo from this angle where you can see the neon lights and you can see a very ancient temple in the background. So I think this is a quite amazing, a striking juxtaposition of the modern culture and the ancient culture as
Right.
well. Right.
So you see now it's lunchtime. And more people are enjoying the local dishes here
So
inside
yes.
the restaurant.
Yes, your husband and son came with you, so I think we're gonna wrap up fairly soon to let you spend
Yeah.
some time with your family. I know that you're supposed to be working during most holidays, right? It's supposed to be your busiest time because that's when families come
during
out.
this Dragon Boat Festival, these 3 days, actually, a tour guide is much more busy than the other time. So actually, today I have to work as a tour guide in the scenic area of
But
the
we
Dujiangyan
pulled you
irrigation
here.
system. Yeah. So, but it's better to be here and meet you guys and introduce this ancient town for you.
Well,
the culture, the history, and the delicious food here.
I
Some special
apologize.
place.
I apologize for pulling you away from your actual work, but I don't apologize for giving you an opportunity to spend at least one meal with your husband and child on one holiday.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So that's all from us. Back to you guys in Beijing.